Sun, beaches, and Latin-inspired flavors are what people around the world call their vacation paradise. We call it home. Welcome to the weekly podcast that captures it all. The Scoop on Miami. Let's discover and rediscover Miami together with Ernieemad, a 54-year resident of the Magic City, and Miami native Laneyrada on the Scoop on Miami. And now, here's Ernieemad and Laneyrada.
Here we are again with another Scoop on Miami. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi. Good morning, Lainey. How are you doing today?
Doing better than ever.
My name is Ernieemad, and I'm the host of the Scoop on Miami, and our co-host is Laneyrada.
Yes, hello.
Absolutely. So it's exciting. How was your week?
My week was so good because something really unique happened. I received this book, which let's see if you can see it. We have a little.
Yeah, we can see it. Absolutely.
Yes, you can see it. How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. It's about psychedelics and meditation and addiction, depression, a lot of important things. And I received this from Tim Ferriss.
My goodness.
He's the podcast king. And I've always been a big fan of his. And I'm sending him a thank you note that's a little tiny fan.
Beautiful.
A little fan. And it's a Japanese geisha because he loves all things Japanese. And it was a total surprise. And it's an autographed book. So I wanted to share that on my own podcast.
Fantastic. You know, one of the things is I'm going to give him a run for his work because I'm going to be at least the South Florida pod king. So let's go with an inspirational quote from you.
I found one that I've heard this before, so I think it's great. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great, by Joe Sabah. I never knew who wrote it, actually.
Interesting. That's a beautiful quote. You know, the first week of May is a busy week, right?
Yes.
Very interesting. Let's see. The first week of May brought in May the 4th be with you, right? For all the Star Wars fan on the 4th. We had Cinco de Mayo, ándale, correct? And I'm sure people enjoyed and bought their tacos and so forth and had some margaritas, at least in the company of their own family. And May 6th was National Nurses Day. And we know how important National Nurses Day, and more than ever now. It's observed annually on May 6th, the day that we raise awareness of all nurse contributions and commitments and acknowledge the vital role that nurses play in our society. It's also the first day of National Nurse Week, sometimes known as National RN Recognition. So if you see a nurse, right? Absolutely. Yes. And Sunday, of course, is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day, Lainey, and happy Mother's Day to everybody else as we remember those that are still with us and those that are no longer with us. It's a very special day. Anything else on your mind?
Well, I think everybody in Miami can hear the Blue Angels flying by, and we heard them a couple minutes ago.
Absolutely.
They go so fast, but it's so exciting. It's exhilarating, especially to see them. So hopefully somebody's out there seeing it from some vantage point.
Got a quick little peek at it. I'm sure many people from balconies and everywhere else stopped between that 1 o'clock to 1:15. It's amazing how quickly they can go from Boca to Homestead back to Boca in 15, 17 minutes, right? Right? So if you caught it, it was just a quick one, but at least it's a great thought, no question. Today's podcast is brought to you by One Premier International Realty, where I'm the broker owner, and by Laneyrada, the broker associate, leading edge broker associate with Douglas Elliman. Remember, as you are on and watching or any time, to subscribe to our channel, like, and leave a comment. We read comments, we love your comments, and we really want to know what you're thinking about. Our first segment is a really important segment as we, small businesses now, are going through some tough times, and we believe that our next guest will definitely have a recipe for success. They've been around for 100 years, and it's very exciting. But first, before we get into that segment, we want to go ahead and do the Miami Rewind, which is something that we always do right at the beginning. And today is a real special one. It's a special week, and tell us about today's Miami Rewind.
Well, sometimes our segments are very touching for us. And so sometimes when I write or when I have to talk or when we have to record, Ernie and I get choked up. And I think some of you will too when you hear this.
Beautiful. Let's go with it.
And now it's time for the 305. The 305 Hidden Treasures. Hidden Treasures with laneyrada.
In this time with no sports at all, attention goes to a man who does not need an introduction, especially in Miami. We know him as Coach Donshula, our hero. This is not a sports show, but he made history and he's a legend in our community. Maybe you'll hear something you didn't know, or just reminisce in the memories. He's the winningest coach in NFL history who passed away this week at the age of 90. There's an outpouring of tributes going on with great memories, and each one shares passionate messages. They are very inspiring to read. He was born in Grand River, Ohio, on January 4th to Hungarian immigrants. His father came to the U.S. at the age of 6. His last name was Sule, which he changed to Shula, like many immigrants did. Don was pumping gas, and he had a chance meeting with a football coach. His mother did not want him to play football. He forged his parents' signature to play on his high school team. He was also an all-star letterman for track. In his personal football career, he played defensive back for the Cleveland Browns, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Washington Redskins. He became the youngest coach at 33 in 1963. He led the Colts to Super Bowl III. It was the first title game to officially use the name Super Bowl. Baltimore lost to the New York Jets, and quarterback Joe Namath led his team to become the first AFL team to win a Super Bowl. In 1969, Joe Robbie signed him as a second head coach. The only perfect season in football history is the Dolphins in 1972. The winningest coach in history took the Dolphins to 2 Super Bowl victories. He only has 2 losing seasons in his 33-year history. The players were our friends and neighbors. It was a simpler time when Miami was less populated. They didn't live behind gates or have an entourage. Bob Greasy lived just blocks from my family. A few friends of mine have old babysitting stories. Then we grew up, and another friend of mine lived with one of the players from that winning team. I think I have almost all their autographs, but it's something I have to look for and see if I can decipher. We carried little autographed books in those days. I doubt they even make those anymore. Now it's about carrying a Sharpie. My family has long since moved from Miami, but remain die-hard Dolphin fans. The Dolphins team was known for its great offensive lines. These are all famous names in sports history to this day. Larry Little, Jim Langer, Bob Kuchenberg, running backs Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, and Mercury Morris, quarterbacks Bob Greasy and Earl Morrell, receivers Paul Warfield and Howard Twilley, tight end Jim Mandich, defensive tackles Manny Fernandez and Nick Bonacani. 1972 was the year that they were undefeated 17-0. They won the Super Bowl 14-7 over the Washington Redskins. In 1974, at the peak of his career, he attended Mass every morning. He had a deeply religious upbringing. He considered becoming a priest, but couldn't commit to being a priest and a coach. He has the rare distinction of coaching 5 quarterbacks with Super Bowl appearances: Johnny Unitas, Earl Morrell, Bob Greasy, David Woodley, and Dan Marino. 3 of them are Hall of Famers. He and Bill Belichick and George Halas are the only coaches in the Hall of Fame who have won over 300 career wins. In retirement, he has his great steakhouses and a golf club and a hotel. We have a Donshula Expressway. There's a Shula Bowl trophy awarded to an annual college game. There's a statue of him at the Hard Rock Stadium. When his first wife died of breast cancer, he created a foundation in 1991. In 1999, he was honored with the Lombardi Award of Excellence. In 2011, he received the Ellis Island Medal of Honor for Humanitarian Rights. He remarried and lived here on Indian Creek. He's survived by his wife and 5 children. He will be missed, but many of the legacy of his character and excellence will endure. Reading the tributes from the fans and his peers are inspiring. A remarkable teacher, mentor, tough, courageous, a leader, integrity, contributor, inspiring, positive impact, and excellence are the words used to describe him. In 2010, he said, "We're very proud of our record, and if somebody breaks it, I'm going to call that coach and congratulate them. Until they do, it's our record, and we're very proud of it." He also said, "If I'm remembered for anything, I hope it's for playing within the rules." He's remembered for so much more. That's the scoop.
Fantastic segment, and what a great loss.
Well, he really helped put Miami on the map. He made a really big difference to our community. That's why we have a whole expressway named after him, for one thing. And just a really important person to a lot of our lives.
You're not kidding. You know, we can all share some personal stories, without a doubt. And I have my own. When I was 12 years old, I went to my first football game and saw Donshula. Obviously, it would look that small because we were on the top row, my brother and I, 11 and 12 years of age. First football game, we spent more time looking at the city, right? There was not a lot of buildings. We can see all the way to the water, and it was a short chain link fence. And the funny thing is, the players, again, looked so small, but I do remember vividly somebody being taken out in a stretcher. And obviously, that game was October 15th, 1972, the day that Bob Greasy went down and Earl Morrall came in. So no question, and years later, I was part of such an historic game. So.
And I think that a lot of the memories are come from the Orange Bowl. That stadium was small and intimate, and there was nothing that compared with banging your feet on the bleachers and that sound. It was a great atmosphere.
As a matter of fact, only game one, the first game of the season, they had about a little over 77,000 people. And if you remember, that stadium fit 80,010. And the remaining part of the year, they filled the stadium. And you're absolutely right. The thunder and the roll, it was just, the whole thing shook, and it was fantastic. We have a wonderful guest today. We are so excited to have one of the owners of almost a 100-year-old company. Started in 1928 with a storied history that Laney and I have something special with that organization. His name is Michael, and Michael Warner is one of the owners of Pittman Photosupply, located in Palmetto Bay. Good morning, Michael.
Hold on.
Okay, hang on one quick second. And we may have lost Michael for 1 second. And what we're going to do is, while we get Michael on the telephone, we're going to run the Pittman Photo Supply ad, and we'll get him on in between the commercial, and we'll be right back.
With all the clutter of online photography supply websites, it's refreshing to know that we have a photographer's warehouse right in our own backyard. Pittman Photo Supply is serving South Florida since 1928. Their unmatched knowledge has been a mainstay for an impressive range of customers that include governmental, industrial, institutional, medical, amateur, and professional photographers alike. Trust the experience and knowledge behind this almost 100-year-old family-owned and operated company that have taught them about good service and kept promises are what keeps their customers satisfied. Not sure of what camera to buy? Rent one. Need camera repairs, film developing, passport photos, or get your sensor cleaned at Pittman Photo Supplies. Thinking of upgrading your camera? Ask about our trade-up program at Pittman Photo Supplies, a photographer's wonderland located at 14321 South Dixie Highway, Palmetto Bay, 305-256-9558. That's 305-256-9558. PittmanPhotosupply.com.
I'm laneyrada, a leading-edge broker associate with Douglas Elliman. I have over 35 years of experience in market cycles to bring to every transaction, and I'm still alive. When you want to see how I sell 85% of my listings and the average agent sells 40%, we need to talk. I break records. The fastest sale, the most offers, the highest price per square foot. Which one do we want to accomplish? My company includes superior quality marketing to enhance your property and the worldwide exposure, which matters in Miami. If you want to buy, I'm a Miami native. I know the area extremely well. Put my negotiating skills to work. I'm the only laneyrada in the world, so it's easy to find me. But I'll help you. My phone number is 305-710-8558. That's 305-710-8558. Let's set up a time to talk.
We're back with more of The Scoop on Miami. Find our podcast on iTunes and on YouTube as a video, our Facebook page, and thecooponmiami.com. While there, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like our podcast channel. And now, here's Ernieemad and laneyrada.
That's the wonderful thing about a live broadcast, correct? A couple of little glitches here and there, and let's see if we're successful this time. Michael Warner, one of the owners of Pittman Photo Supply with an incredible storied history. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that phone line.
Okay.
But Ernie and Laney, I just want to thank you guys for everything you're doing for the community and the podcast. I know it's just a fantastic job that you guys are doing. And I know that you're doing this right out of the bottom of your heart to promote small business and Miami business and Miami in general. And it's such a wonderful. It's so wonderful to be here with you today. I mean, here you are doing all this, and never once have you come up to me or any of the, I guess, all the other people and asked for anything. You're just doing it for the community to get out there to get the YouTube channel going, and it's just fantastic work. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really started this. Obviously, we're all going through as small business owners through the COVID-19, and I thought, what a wonderful way to, as our real estate also has gone down by more than 75%. How do we reach out and help communities in South Florida get out their message? At the same time, obviously, they'll find out who we are through this. But our goal is to really spotlight people and businesses and help the community. And I'm grateful because all of the lighting in the studio is from Pittman Photo Supply. That you guys just give such great. I'm very new to. Let me get the wide shot up. I'm very new to video, and I've been a photographer for many years, and it's a little bit different. So they really recommended the exact perfect lighting that I need to take on the road as well as in here. And that's really one of the most important things when you're dealing with someone that has so much experience. Go ahead, Laney.
Well, go ahead.
All right, perfect. So, Michael, let me ask you. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Sure. I just really appreciate you guys coming to the store. I know, you talk about the lighting and the backdrops and all that stuff. Nowadays people are doing more and more on YouTube, more and more broadcasting from their home. And, we're just trying to be a local supplier so that instead of ordering something sight unseen off the internet, you can go and look at the backdrop paper, look at the color, pick the right color, go for a wide roll, go for a narrow roll, whatever you want to do.
Touchy-feely.
It's all available there.
It's very important, absolutely. Let me ask you, with such a long history, tell me about your family, how you got started into the photography business.
Well, it started like you say, almost 100 years ago. My grandfather, Albert J. Pittman, started developing pictures at his house. And he would develop the pictures, and then pretty soon he was developing pictures for drugstores and so forth, and he would go and deliver them. And then in time, he opened up a business on 36th Street, and we operated out of one of those buildings on 36th Street until the 90s. And then we moved to a store on US 1, It was the old Bolamat. If you know something about
Yes.
Miami, you know the old Bolamat. Well, we bought that building, and we stayed there for quite a number of years. And then Walgreens needed a location, so we sold that building to Bolamat, and then we moved across the highway to an old sound advice building, which we bought, and we operated there for a while. And now that's the Dollar Tree, and we are still on US 1, pretty much across from the falls, and still going. And so my grandfather started it, and then my father took it over, so to speak, when my grandfather passed away. And then when my father passed away, I was working for a great company, Dow Chemical at the time, but I left Dow Chemical and went to head up Pittman Photo, and I stayed there, and I'm still there, but not in the daily operation. After some years, I went to the University of Miami. I teach accounting there at the University of Miami full time, which is, you can imagine, a nightmare with this COVID virus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've all had to go to online teaching. But now it's run by my niece, Lauren Elcia, and her mom, Margaret Elcia. And this place, Ernie, this place really is truly a woman-owned and operated business, because although I'm there sometimes, let me tell you, they're calling the shots. And if you called Pittman Photo today, either Margaret or Lauren would answer the phone. And if you need something, you need a camera or something, they can't let you in the building, but they can definitely give it to you, you know, through the front door, and they'll do what it takes to help their customers. So, and it's funny you mentioned the Super Bowl III. I went to Super Bowl III back in the day with Lauren's father.
Wow.
And it was so funny because now they have these fantastic halftime shows with all these famous, singers.
Right.
Back then, what they did is they fixed up some of the old Orange Bowl parade floats and ran them through the infield during the halftime show. So things have come a long way.
Oh,
but anyway,
thanks for saying that. That's great.
Oh yeah. So we've got a long history, and let me tell you, it's a tough battle. I mean, Lauren she's fantastic. She is running the place now, which takes a lot of work nowadays because it's a camera store and you're competing with everybody's phone, and everybody's got a camera on their phone and so forth, and with Amazon and so forth. But right. Lauren, talk about the history. Lauren worked for Pittman Photo back when she was in high school. And then she left and got a degree in business, from Florida Atlantic. She's brilliant. She's just the nicest person on the planet. Oh, how nice. And then she went out and got some experience at some huge companies and organizations. And then we were lucky enough to invite her back to the company when we needed somebody to step in and really help out. And she has not only helped out, but she is now at the helm, and she's doing a fantastic job.
Oh, that's good to hear.
They really are.
Because Ernie and I are dedicated customers, and he's Mr. Canon and I'm Miss Nikon. But
that's what I hear. I know.
I've had a running joke with all the people throughout the years, because I always say, you're not going to catch me walking out with a Canon bag. I mean, with a Nikon bag, or turn it inside out. It's always a kiddie.
What they say. For this guy, we got to get the Canon bags, or else he won't even leave the store. So it's so funny. Yeah,
you're not kidding.
Yeah, what I remember from my very first time that I went to the store is how knowledgeable your staff is, and how do you find such quality people?
Oh, let me tell you, these guys, we've got some guys that are they're technical guys. They know these products. Let me tell you, we got one guy, Glenn, great guy. And I remember we were at a Miami Zoo event. It's called Zoo Lens Miami, and we're there with Ron McGill, and Nikon flew in some people to be their representatives. And what we were doing through Nikon is we were loaning these cameras out to junior high students. And these junior high students would take them, and, Ron McGill took them on a tram around, and they took pictures. Ron McGill is an old-time customer of ours, just a fantastic individual. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and this guy, Glenn, is there, one of our people, and I remember people asking technical Nikon questions about these cameras. And it was funny because the Nikon representatives would say, well, we're not sure, but go over and see that guy, pointing to Glenn, who works for us. So sometimes our guys are so interested in photography. They are so into it. They are up to speed with not only the history of every camera model, but the new ones and the new ones coming out. And they do it because they're interested. They're generally interested. Mm-hmm. And there's certainly, if you go into Pittman Photo and you say, oh, I want to buy this, I mean, they love to sell more products, obviously, but it's not like they're waiting for some commission check because they're not going to get one. They're just helping out.
Yeah, they're not going to upsell you to an apple pie, extra things. They really make sure that you have exactly what you need.
There's no incentive for that.
Absolutely.
No incentive for them to do that at all. And the only incentive that we hope that we have there is that when somebody comes in and picks their brain and spends the time, because it does take a lot of time, it's very expensive to supply these guys, as you can imagine. Mm-hmm. You cannot hire guys like this cheaply. Right. And for them, and we're just hoping that they will be so impressed that they will buy right there in the store in Miami, as opposed to trying to save $15 online or something. Correct. And a lot of times they can't save anything because we are selling these products at as low a cost as we can. My sister and I, we don't take profits out of the company primarily because there's so little profit if there is any to take home. But we do very much enjoy servicing the community and being helpful to the community and being able to provide a service of having those products and the advice there in a local shop in Miami.
Yes, we noticed.
It's just a big part of our family's history, and something we desperately want to continue to do. I got to tell you, it's tougher and tougher these days. We do look for local customers to come in, and it's tough. Running a business, a small business anywhere is tough. Running a small business in Miami, I think, is a very difficult thing to do.
Michael, they used to say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I don't think those people that said that ever lived in Miami or had a business here.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, let me tell you.
That's one of the reasons that we have these smaller businesses and anybody who's lasted on the show, because it helps set an example for others. And one of the biggest things that we found is finding somebody to answer their phone. And Margaret's right there on the phone. So you got the first step covered.
We are closed down. I mean, we're closed, and yet Margaret and Lauren are there answering the phones. And when somebody needs something, they are doing what it takes to get it done. And they're doing photo finishing. We do have technicians coming in to develop pictures. So and a lot of people that get their pictures developed at Pittman won't go anywhere else because even the little teeny pictures that but the 4x6 prints that are just pennies a piece. Our technicians color correct and exposure correct every single one they print. So none of them are machine prints. And so they'll sit there and print. And so we are getting, a few orders for those prints to be done and enlargements and wedding pictures and whatnot. But yeah, they're there and they're answering the phone. Folks, and at any time you call Pittman Photo, you're going to get somebody to answer the phone because we don't have a phone answering machine.
And your prices for developing are very comparable to those big box prescription drugstores, and there's no sense.
They're very close.
Yes,
they're very close, and
big difference in
the quality. And let me tell you, it's very difficult because we're trying to compete with them on price, and yet they're just running these things through their machine where we are, we do have a technician sitting there adjusting every one. And if somebody gets a picture and they don't like it, no problem. Let's print it again for you.
Absolutely.
So, and we do various other things, like we transfer, people have those old VHS tapes and they want to put them on CDs to be more modern. We do that. We do, big prints. We do the passport pictures. We do whatever we can.
I've had some metal prints made of my own photography work.
Yeah, unbelievable. These metal prints, I mean, it just gives a whole new, life to them,
Yes.
so. And then you've got a lot of people that have very old pictures that want them, put in a more modern form or reproduced, and we just routinely handle all that. And we aren't charging an arm and a leg. We're charging regular, camera store, drugstore prices for it all. So it's a good way to get your images done. And to Lanny, we have these phones with gazillions of images. We have them on our computers. And one of the biggest problems we run into is when there's a natural disaster of some kind, and we have these the computer systems that are lost or the memory card that's lost. Mm-hmm. These images are gone forever. And so you want to make sure that the important images that you have, that you cherish in your life, print them out. Have them somewhere where you can actually hold it in your hand. And that way you're never going to lose it, and you get to enjoy it.
Great advice. Mm-hmm. I was wondering, one time that I was there, you have a little gallery that supports local photographers, and there was actually a picture of the house I grew up in. And I was wondering how often those little shows change that you support those people.
Oh my God, that's fantastic! Yeah, we change them whenever there's demand. Okay. When somebody comes along and says, "Hey, I've got some pictures I'd like to put up," we're ready to put them up. In our prior locations, we had more room for that, but we still have some room for local photographers to display their work, and we enjoy doing so. We also display some of the Junior Orange Bowl photo competition. The Junior Orange Bowl thing, people think of it like the parade, and of course it is a parade, but oh my God, they do everything, including, gymnastics competitions and basketball competitions and running. And one of the things they do is a photography contest, and we've sponsored that for well over 20 years. We're the longest running Junior Orange Bowl sponsor. And so we will also display the winning pictures, from the Junior Orange Bowl contest every year. So that's a delight, because these are the young people and the future of Miami. We give them gift certificates, so they could come in to see what's at Pitman Photo, because, you can buy a camera online. Hopefully you'll come into Pitman Photo and take a look and buy it there. But one thing that's hard to come by are all the various gazillions of accessories, that special camera bag you want, or the neck strap that you want, or the wireless microphone that you want to hook up for your YouTube videos, and, that GoPro accessory, or maybe a little drone of some kind. And, people that are into photography, they go in there and just, they'll spend an hour walking around just looking at everything. Well, that's a great to get a feel for what's available.
That's a great segue to the next question, because you really are a photographer's wonderland, right? A little kid's toy store where you can actually touch and feel and see how it works, and that's so important. So, and you have everything for a newbie and aficionado to a professional. Where do your customer base, other than the local people? I know you attract many foreigners.
Well, let me tell you, here's the thing. We do, and they know, that Miami, when they're in Miami, and a lot of foreign travelers pass through Miami, that Pitman Photo is a great place to buy the camera gear that they're looking for, or that accessory that they want. But our real bread and butter if you want to call it that, would be the regular local customers, and not even professionals necessarily, just, the students, the housewives, the people who are going on vacation and want to get some good pictures. Pitman Photo is a great place to go. For example, let me throw out an example. Dr. Dennis from the University of Miami, she goes to Africa and photographs animals. Every couple of years, she's in Pitman Photos selecting a new lens and a new camera, and she's actually bought some of them here to take over there to give to some of her friends. So the thing is, with almost anything you do, any hobby you do, part of that hobby is oftentimes photography. And whether you like to travel, whether you like to go boating, whether you like to do skiing, whatever it is, photography fits right in and helps you remember the things that you've done. And it captures those images. So later on, you could say, "Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that."
It sure does.
And let me tell you, it doesn't work so well if it's on a CD somewhere or on a little memory card. You've got to pretty much print out the picture to have this benefit. So the folks that are going on vacation, that are going to Hawaii, going to North Carolina, going to wherever they're going, Washington D.C. Going out on the boat this weekend, Pitman Photo is a great place to stop in, whether you need a GoPro camera to get the action shots, if you're going to be on your bicycle and you can strap that thing on and get just fantastic videos right out of the box. I mean, you could be an amateur of amateurs, and I can tell you, because I never took a video before until I got a GoPro 7. And I was in China, and I was riding my bicycle. I held it with one hand, and you can find it on M. Warner at Miami on YouTube or something like that. That's what the name is. And I rode around the university I was at, Tsinghua University, and I figured, well, this is going to be pretty bad because I'm just holding it in my hand. It looks like it was done on a professional dolly or something. It was just fantastic.
Yeah,
and
it's incredible.
It turns pro photographers. You can turn pro just by stopping in, taking a look, getting that camera that fits what you want to do. So,
absolutely.
Now another aspect of our customers that I'd like to improve on, and so would Lauren and Margaret, would be the commercial supply and the governmental supply and so forth. Being a woman-owned business, I mean, if you call there, you are not going to talk to me. I'm seldom there, but you're going to talk to Margaret. You're going to talk to Lauren. Truly a woman-owned business, woman-run company, small business in Miami. And we are really hoping to stay viable. And part of this is going to be a new effort to try to land some possible commercial accounts or governmental accounts where, they would like to help the smaller businesses as opposed to the big giants in Miami.
Well, that's great.
And I think we all have to do that.
Good.
We've all got to do that. I know for me, if I'm buying something, I'm trying to buy it local first, and I'm trying to buy it from a small business first.
And now it's more important now than ever. That's what everybody has on their mind.
Yeah, more important than ever. Michael, in wrapping up, I wanted to quickly tell you that people are coming out of the woodworks now that I know that I have a podcast and they're watching it. And an old friend of mine back in the 70s, a professional photographer, shared some wonderful stories back when you guys were on 36th Street. And I'll give a shout out to Eduardo Barandiarang, who is a professional photographer. Get well soon, buddy. He lives in the Keys, and his son is following in the same footsteps, photographing boats and yachts. So you have a long history of great customers.
Yeah. And let me tell you, you look at some of the photography of homes and yachts and some of this commercial photography, it's better than it's ever been.
Yes.
Just fabulous equipment, fabulous talent out there. And at Pitman Photo, I know I speak for Lauren and Margaret and the rest of the whole team there. We're just so pleased and proud to be a part of it. And we're also very proud to be on this segment. I mean, this is just a fantastic thing. We've watched what you're trying to do, Ernie and Laney. And, real estate's what makes the world go round. I mean, we can say a lot about Pittman Photo, but as you guys know, since we've owned most of the buildings that we occupied, we as a family over the history have made more money on real estate than we would ever make at Pittman Photo.
Interesting.
Real estate is the name of the game. So I applaud you guys on your efforts and also for everything that you're doing for Miami and the community.
Well, thank you so much. And we know the importance of photography in real estate now more than ever, with less people driving around and so forth. It's very important. So Michael Warner from Pitman Photo Supply, it's been a pleasure meeting your entire family. I can see why you guys are so successful. A genuine care, really a company that thinks of yes. So many people say no immediately, and they make it happen. And we are so honored to have you on the program today.
Thank you,
Hey,
Michael.
it's been my pleasure. And you guys in the real estate, you got to stop in, Ernie, and take a look at that DJI Mavic Mini, which it's so lightweight. You don't need a license, and it flies like a.
That's the Mini.
The Mini.
I'll go look at it. Absolutely. For your area of business. Go take a look at it.
We'll do
But
that.
listen, thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast here, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank
You bet we
Michael.
will. Thank you so much. Have a great
Stay
day.
well.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right, folks. That was a great segment with a company that's been around almost 100 years, Pittman Photo Supply. And coming up after this, we're going to do Miami Rewind, which is a special segment this week. And Laney came up with some information that none of us knew here in real estate, so we even asked all of those. So stand by for that. That is coming up right after this.
I'm laneyrada, a leading-edge broker associate with Douglas Elliman. I have over 35 years of experience in market cycles to bring to every transaction, and I'm still alive. When you want to see how I sell 85% of my listings and the average agent sells 40%, we need to talk. I break records, the fastest sale, the most offers, the highest price per square foot. Which one do we want to accomplish? My company includes superior quality marketing to enhance your property and the worldwide exposure, which matters in Miami. If you want to buy, I'm a Miami native. I know the area extremely well. Put my negotiating skills to work. I'm the only laneyrada in the world, so it's easy to find me. But I'll help you. My phone number is 305-710-8558. That's 305-710-8558. Let's set up a time to talk.
With hundreds of brokerages, thousands of agents, how do you cut through all the noise? One Premier International Realty, a boutique real estate brokerage located in Coral Gables, doing business the old-fashioned way, putting people first. Buying, selling, or leasing residential and commercial properties in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Monroe counties? One Premier International provides each customer a high level of service and communication experience with full-time agents from around the world bringing their unique sense of business skills and a foreign customer base. One Premier International Realty. You've heard of private banking. Now experience private brokerage, a higher level of service and knowledge. One Premier International Realty, 305-669-0233, or go online to www.onepremierinternational.com.
We're back with more of the Scoop on Miami. Find our podcast on iTunes and on YouTube as a video, our Facebook page, and thecooponmiami.com. While there, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like our podcast channel. And now, here's Ernieemad and laneyrada.
All right, we are back to the Scoop on Miami Live. And on the telephone right now, I have the executive director of the CatNetwork. And they are doing some incredible things with cats. Jill Steinberg, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ernie. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for holding on the phone with us today. I'm also going to share a couple of my story because I'm a cat lover. Tell us your story, Jill. What experiences can you share that brought you the passion to start an organization so incredible like the Cat Network?
I didn't start the organization. I became part of the organization about 5 years after the organization started.
Okay.
And I became part of the organization because I wanted to give back something when my dear beloved Toes, my cat that was 15 years old, had died. And I wanted to be able to help other people with their cats. And so I started out on the phone line in 2001. And giving advice on what to do with a stray cat, how to TNR a cat. And I've been doing the phone line for 19 years.
Oh, my goodness.
That's great.
That's fantastic. Wow. There seems to be more awareness about dog adoptions and services for dogs than cats. Why is that?
That's because even though there are a lot of pet cats, there's more dog rescue groups, there's more dog events, more emphasis is put on dogs. The top 10 dogs that are adopted or rescued in the United States are mostly like Labrador retrievers and Weimaraners and German Shepherds, and there's a lot of them down here. So there's more emphasis on dogs than cats, and there's hardly any emphasis on community cats, which are the cats that are outside, usually the feral cats or the cats that unfortunately some people leave behind when they move.
Okay. Well, I've had those in my family too. And we have all kinds of cats. I have plenty of cat stories. My mom's the cat lady. Tell our listeners and our viewers, what services does the Cat Network provide?
The Cat Network has three main focuses. First focus is to help the community with low-cost services for sterilization.
Okay.
Mostly for community cats. And we have a veterinary program where if you're a member of the Cat Network, you can buy a certificate, and we have 45 participating vets that will do low-cost surgery for $30 a cat. And you take the cat to the veterinarian, you make an appointment, and they get the surgery and they get a rabies shot, and then you can take the cat and put it back where you found it. That's the first program.
Okay.
Second program is our adoption program. So after you find these cats, and the cats, sometimes you'll find them with kittens, you can become part of our adoption program if you're a member, and you can have the kittens show them at our PetSmart locations or our Petco locations, or just have them on our website and on Pet Finder, and be able to adopt those kittens out. Because unfortunately, there's 400,000 to 500,000 free roaming cats in Miami-Dade County. And in the summer, of which we started probably in March, we have a very abundant kitten season. The hotter it is, the more kittens there are.
Okay. There's so many
and
things
the third program
that you're helping to expose.
is we advocate for cats. Sometimes when a homeowners association decides that they want to hire a trapper and kill the cat, and we help the homeowners association residents go to their community and tell them that it's cheaper and it's safer to trap, neuter, return rather than kill the cats, because the cats will come back.
Right.
If you return the cat, if you trap the cats and get them sterilized, you have a little colony and you can control the colony. And once the colony dies out, you don't have any more cats.
And that's part of the Miami-Dade County Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, and Return program.
Miami-Dade does it too. Now Miami-Dade does it for free.
What are the pros and cons between what you do and what Miami-Dade County?
Well, Miami-Dade does it for free, but you have to bring the cat there, and sometimes you don't get the cat back for a couple of days.
Got it.
In our program, when you bring it to the vet, you get the cat back the same day.
Beautiful.
They'll do it in the morning, and you get the cat back in the afternoon.
Perfect.
But you still have to pay for that. In the county program, it's free.
Okay.
Understood. I love the fact that you have a membership plan. Can you explain a membership plan?
Our membership plan is because since the certificates are so low priced, because if you got a pet cat sterilized, it would be probably between $150 to $200, and most people would not be able to pay that for a community cat. So our membership plan is $35 for the year, and you can buy as many certificates as you need for the community cats that you find, and you get them sterilized for $30 a cat.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Did we miss covering something today that you want to bring up?
Not really, except the fact that when you find a cat and you feed the cat, please get the cat sterilized.
Yes. That's a good rule. I've always was brought up that if you feed the cat, they're yours, right? And
exactly,
no question. And I've done that in my own neighborhood. I have a lakefront home, and every 30 days I was ending up with 2 or 3 cats and fixed them all. And I haven't had a new cat in probably 4 or 5 years. At least I'm able to help the community and stop this continuous really overpopulated of homeless cats. No question.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. And finally, how can the community get involved with the Cat Network?
The community can either go to our website, which is www.thecatnetwork.org, visit our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/thecatnetwork, or they can call our phone line, which is 305-255-3482.
Fantastic. Jill, it's been a pleasure having you on our podcast today. Thank you for being a guest on The Scoop on Miami. Let me ask you, would you recommend anybody, a small business, to come on our program to give exposure?
I can't think of anyone offhand, but I will call you with
Beautiful.
Someone that might be able to be on the program.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Thank you for being such a great advocate for those pretty sweet cats.
Thank you, Lainey.
You bet. Have a great day, Jill.
All righty. Bye-bye.
That's Jill Steinberg, obviously with the Cat Network, and it was a wonderful little segment. And Lainey, my own cats. There is where you see my mouse. That is my 17-year-old cat, And then I've got the inseparable Snowy and Samantha that I spoke about on last week's show.
Yes.
I have
look at them.
Ginger, and Ginger, the cat had actually in a pot that I had, it's a tall pot that I had in my backyard, and I heard all of these little meows, and there was a litter of 4 little cats. Had to tip this huge Mexican pot over. They came out. We found homes for some of them, but Ginger's such a cutie, I kept her. And then you have Leo along with Bella there. So I am really a cat lover and really enjoy everything to do with cats. So thank you for being on the program, Jill, with us. We're going to go right into the Miami Rewind segment right now, which is a really a great segment. Tell us a little bit about the Miami Rewind.
Well, it has a couple of different points that maybe you don't know about, but I think probably most people have been to this building, so let's give it a listen.
Let's give it a listen.
It's time to take a look back with laneyrada.
Miami
Rewind.
There was a mansion at 44th and Collins Avenue right on the beach. It was built in 1916 and had a whopping 1,600 feet of beachfront. It belonged to Harvey Firestone, who lived there until his death in 1938. You know those tires that might be on your car? I hung around with Amy Firestone a few times. We had a mutual friend. She wore her grandmother's genuine French perfume, Quelques Fleurs. It was in a tiny little bottle. I loved it so much, I found it and wore it only on special occasions. They don't make it anymore. In the 1920s, Mr. Firestone had a sign on the roof at one of his tire stores, where there's now a Walgreens on Flagler and Southwest 12th Avenue. He wanted to be sure he could see his sign from his house. It's the same size Walgreens sign that's there now. There's a big, iconic hotel called the Fountainbleu, where that mansion was. The hotel was built by hotelier Ben Novak in 1954. The house was used as construction headquarters and then demolished for the pool and grounds. So when you stand right there sipping your champagne, you can reminisce what it might have been like. This is the special treat of knowing Miami history. The hotel was acquired in 2005 by the Sofer family. The Sofers now own it with an investment company from Dubai. Another one of my favorite trivia facts is about the fabulous nightclub Live. Does anyone know where it got its name from? No one that I ever ask. The name LIV stands for the Roman numeral 54, and that's the year the hotel was built. There you go. The famous architect who designed the hotel was Morris Lapidus, known for a special style of architecture called Neo-Baroque and many Miami modern hotels with a style called MIMO in the 50s and 60s. He landed his largest job at the Fountainbleu. He loved grandeur and elegance. If you do too, just look up anything about him and you will have a treat for the eyes. The hidden treasure is a huge staircase to nowhere near the front desk. How fantastic is that? Originally, it led to a cloakroom. After guests checked in, they would take the elevator to the top of the stairs, hang their coats, and make a cinematic entrance. That was something. It's still there for you to act out with any drama you desire. It's the perfect setting for all special occasions, and many people have beautiful photographs there. What I love about a grand staircase is dragging the tail of your gown slowly, step by step. Now it's your turn.
You know, there was a commercial years ago that was a beer commercial, and it had a bunch of X's, and it always had the most interesting man in the world. You're becoming the most interesting woman in the world,
okay.
Let me tell you. It's incredible stories. I love them. I didn't know you hobnob with the Firestones.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Fantastic. Hey, look, I have, remember Karnak the Great, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. 2-4.
I don't know if everybody can remember that, though.
Well, if you're our age, you're going to remember
Johnny
Karnak.
Carson show.
Absolutely. 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14, and 15.
Now, what did Ed McMahon used to say?
I didn't research that. I don't remember what he said. But hey, look, the Miami Dolphins released their virtual schedule yesterday, and they're going to be playing in their home games will be in weeks 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14, and 15. So I wanted to tie in the Donshula segment with this, but with the technical issues, I wanted to make sure I brought in Karnak the Great.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's all we have for today.
We've had a wonderful...
What are we going to have on next week?
Oh, next week is a spectacular show.
Yes.
Tell us about it, Lainey.
We have the big bus tours manager talking to us, and we can't wait to talk about that because there's so many places to see here. It's the best place to have tours because usually places have one bus going around, and we have a lot of them. And then...
And then we're going to have a comedian on. Next week, we're going to have...
Manny and his flamingo.
Manny Garavera, correct? Garavito. He is with Miami Comic, and he is a comic promoter, and he promotes shows in different venues as well. He's online now, and he's online twice a day at the miamicomedy.com, but he also scouts talents for the Improv in Doral and many other venues. So if you have a small restaurant, a small venue, and you want to fill in some of those slow nights as we get back, check out that show because he's got some wonderful things. What else do you want to talk about?
No, we all need to laugh.
You're not kidding. And then the following week, we'll let you know next week, but we have a great lineup as well. Look, thank you for being with us, and thank you for riding along this journey. We're really here to help small businesses, give them a voice. We believe we are the voice for small businesses here in South Florida. And exposure, reconnecting with your customers, definitely staying engaged with your customers. And, we make phone calls for a living, and we also book people for this particular program. And again, my advice to small businesses is to answer your phones, even if you're closed. There's call forwarding, remote call forwarding that you can call your company and even answering on a cell phone, or purchase one of those Go phones if you don't want to have a different phone number that can answer a different phone. But definitely customers nowadays want to know if you're open, and if you're not open, that at least they can speak with someone or not have a voicemail that is full, because they'll move on to another business and there's a lot of uncertainty. So without a doubt, make sure that your website is up to date, that your phone is up to date, so that we can continue re-engaging with our customer base so that we don't lose them.
Because we're looking for you too. We're calling people that we can't get a hold of, and we're trying to support you. So connect with us.
Again, thank you so much
Thank you, everybody,
for being on the Scoop on Miami.
We hope you were entertained, informed, enriched, and proud to live in Miami. We have come to the end of another episode of The Scoop on Miami with your host, Ernieemad, broker, owner of One Premier International Realty, and laneyrada, a leading-edge broker associate with Douglas Elliman. Thank you for riding alongside our journey. If you know of a special person doing wonderful things in our community or want your business featured, visit thecooponmiami.com and contact us. Find The Scoop on Miami on iTunes. Subscribe, share, and like our podcast channel. While there, leave a comment. We'd love to know what you think. And now you have The Scoop on Miami.